Keep a glass of water beside your mug, clean your gear weekly, and adopt a personal caffeine curfew that respects your sleep. Those small habits turn coffee from a gamble into a wellness ritual. When you travel or order out, the same rules apply. Ask what origin and process you're being served. Pick medium roasts if you're unsure, and don't hesitate to choose decaf after lunch. With the right roasters, you're not sacrificing pleasure, you're protecting tomorrow. And if you ever feel overwhelmed by marketing, return to what we practice on Tips for Senior. Trust your senses. Smell for freshness. Sip for natural sweetness. Notice how your body feels an hour later. Great coffee is honest coffee, quietly flavorful, transparent about its journey, and respectful of your day. If this guide helped, share it with a friend who's still wandering the aisle without a compass. Tell them the path is simple. Read the label, find the date, match the cup to your body, and choose roasters who show their work. Do that, and your kitchen becomes a small, calm cafe where the coffee tastes like itself. Your mornings start on your terms, and your evenings belong to you. From all of us at Tips for Senior, thank you for being here. May your next bag be honest, your next brew be gentle, and your next night's sleep be undisturbed. We've just walked the good side of the aisle together. One calm, connected story from clarity to confidence. And the pattern should feel reassuring. Counterculture and Onyx showed you what transparency tastes like when companies trust you with details. Verve gave you elegance that stays kind to your stomach. Wonderstate proved that weekday-friendly can still be genuinely delicious. Equator folded responsibility into flavor so one bag can please a table of different palates. George Howell offered a masterclass in single-origin honesty that rewards tiny, mindful tweaks. And Tony's reminded us that dependable is not dull, it's freeing. You stop fussing and start enjoying. As a practical compass you can carry anywhere. Read every bag for place and process, country plus region or farm/co-op, and a clear washed, natural, or honey note. Find a real roast date you can finish within 3 to 4 weeks. Match caffeine to your day. Water processed decaf after lunch if sleep or heart rhythm matters. Fit roast and brew to your body. Medium roasts and washed lots with manual pour-over is just as forgiving. Bloom 30-40 seconds, then pour in calm circles with water just off the boil. 198 to 201 degrees Fahrenheit, 92 to 94 degrees Celsius, to finish around 3 minutes. If flavor feels shy, keep the stream steady a few seconds longer. If it edges sharp, ease the pour, and course in one click. For espresso lovers, Tony's blends are tuned for milk. Start near 18 grams in and 36 grams out in 28, 32 seconds and steam to 140, 149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60-65 degrees Celsius, so the chocolate nut profile stays sweet. If a shot tastes edgy, lower brew temp a degree or grind a touch coarser, and if it tastes locked up, go slightly finer or extend extraction by a second. Many of you on Tips for Senior ask about managing acidity and sleep. With George Howell, choose washed coffees and the lighter side of medium roast for a softer landing. Pair your mug with a glass of water and set a personal caffeine curfew. Enjoy these expressive single origins earlier in the day, then switch to a good water-processed decaf after lunch to protect your evening. If you love cold coffee but want it gentle, George Howell's clarity shines in a paper-filtered cold brew. Coarse grind at roughly 1:8 coffee to water, 12-16 hours in the fridge, then strain through paper to remove fine sediment and extra oils. Dilute to taste and you'll have a naturally sweet pitcher that's easy on digestion. Storage stays straightforward. Buy whole bean, keep it airtight in a cool, dark cabinet, never the fridge or freezer, and aim to finish within 3 to 4 weeks of the roast date so the flavors stay honest. What you discover with George Howell is confidence through simplicity. George Howell Coffee is a masterclass in single-origin clarity, the kind of quiet, precise flavor that lets you hear place and season. So it's a perfect fit for Tips for Senior, where we prize cups that are vivid yet gentle. Open a washed Ethiopian from George Howell, and the aroma rises clean and floral. Brew it well, and you'll taste a lemony lift and a natural sweetness that lands softly instead of poking at your palate. Try a Kenyan from higher altitudes, and you might notice blackcurrant, a tea-like structure, and a finish that tidies itself without lingering heaviness. The hallmark here is restraint in the roast. They get out of the bean's way, which means fewer burnt edges and fewer reasons to reach for sugar or syrup to fix the cup. At home, think small, mindful adjustments rather than complicated technique. For pour-over, start with fresh filtered water just off the boil, 198-201 degrees Fahrenheit, 92-94 degrees Celsius. Grind a touch finer than your drip setting, and use a calm 30-45 second bloom to wake the coffee before pouring in slow, steady circles to a total time around 3 minutes. If the cup leans sharp, move 1 click coarser and lower your water a degree or 2, and if it tastes thin, go 1 click finer or give the pour 5. Equator also plays beautifully with milk, which matters for many in our community who love cappuccinos. Pull espresso around a 1:2 ratio, 18 grams in, approximately 36 grams out, 28-32 seconds, and steam milk to a gentle 140-149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60-65 degrees Celsius, so the chocolate and nut notes stay sweet instead of tipping bitter. If the shot tastes edgy, try a notch coarser on the grinder or a degree cooler. If it tastes shy, go a touch finer or extend the shot 1 or 2 seconds. Sensitive digestion? Favor washed processed coffees and medium roasts. Pair your mug with a glass of water, and keep your gear clean weekly. Old oils can add rough edges that neither palate nor stomach appreciate. If afternoons tend to echo into the night, Equator's water-processed decaf keeps the same balanced house voice with a lower volume of stimulation, so you can enjoy an after-lunch latte without bargaining with your bedtime. For warm months, milk drinkers will find Wonderstate's blends friendly. A small splash of warm milk at 140-149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60-65 degrees Celsius, rounds the cup without creating bitterness, so you can skip the syrups and still feel indulged. And because many in our audience are mindful of afternoons and sleep, look for Wonderstate's water-processed decaf to slide into your after-lunch routine. You'll keep the ritual and the flavor while protecting your evening. Store the beans whole, airtight, and away from heat or light, not the fridge or freezer, and aim to finish the bag within 3 to 4 weeks of the roast date. Do those small things, and Wonderstate will reward you with what it does best: a steady, gently sweet cup that behaves. Easy to brew, easy to drink, and easy on your day. Equator Coffees is what balance tastes like when responsibility is baked into the recipe. A calm, rounded cup that pleases different palates at the same table, which is why it earns a place in this Tips for Senior guide. Open the bag and the aroma is steady and composed. Soft cocoa, a little toast. What makes Verve special isn't just the sunny California brightness in the cup. It's how predictably the coffee behaves when you give it basic care. Steady grind, calm pour, clean gear, rewarding you with a naturally sweet, low-drama mug that you can drink black or soften with a splash of warm milk. A cup that plays nicely with medications, digestion, and sleep, so the rest of your day feels steadier too. Wonderstate Coffee feels like your kitchen table at 8 a.m., warm, welcoming, and built for everyday life, which is exactly why it belongs in this guide from Tips for Senior. Open a bag, and the first impression is calm. A clean, honest aroma, with none of the heavy perfume or smoky edges that push you toward sugar. Brew it as a straightforward drip, and you'll get what I call a weekday-friendly cup, naturally sweet, balanced, and easy on the stomach, with enough character to stay interesting, but not so much intensity that it overwhelms breakfast. If you use a countertop machine, keep the routine simple and repeatable. Fresh water, a paper filter. Paper helps trap oils that can taste harsh and sometimes bother digestion. A medium grind, and a Verve coffee roasters is where elegance meets everyday ease. The kind of quiet confidence we love to feature on Tips for Senior, because it tastes refined without asking you to work hard. Open a fresh bag, and the aroma is clean and precise, not perfumed or smoky, just a promise of a cup that feels light on the palate and kind to the stomach. Brew their seasonal single origins as a pour-over, and you'll notice a window-opening clarity, gentle fruit, soft florals, a sweet finish that doesn't nag, while their flagship espresso blends carry a centered sweetness, cocoa, toasted grain, a hint of dried fruit, that stands up beautifully to milk at a comfortable 140-149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60-65 degrees Celsius. If acid reflux or sharp cups have bothered you in the past, Verve gives you room to fine-tune without losing flavor. Choose washed processed lots and medium roasts. Use water just off the boil, 198-201 degrees Fahrenheit, 92-94 degrees Celsius. Bloom for 30-45 seconds. Then pour in calm, steady circles to a total. Many in our audience ask about afternoon coffee and sleep. Onyx treats decaf as a first-class citizen, so when you need flavor without stimulation, look for their water-processed options when available. Or try the sugarcane-processed decaf that many people find naturally sweet and very comfortable. Swap this into your after-lunch habit, and you'll often gain back your evening without feeling you've given anything up. As always, pair your mug with a glass of water to keep the experience gentle. Keep your grinder and brewer clean so yesterday's oils don't color today's cup. And trust small adjustments over big swings. With coffee this carefully sourced and roasted, tiny moves, one click on the grinder, a few degrees on the kettle, a second or two on the shot, are enough to turn a good cup into the kind of calm, delicious moment that supports your day, rather than speeding it up. Storage is simple. Buy whole bean, keep it in an airtight container in a cool, dark cabinet, and skip the fridge or freezer. Big temperature swings create condensation and dull the cup. And yes, the decaf question matters here on Tips for Senior. Counterculture treats decaf like real coffee, using water-based processing so you can enjoy an afternoon cup without bargaining with your bedtime. It preserves the voice of the bean while turning down the buzz. Add a glass of water alongside your mug, give your brewer a gentle weekly clean to remove old oils, and you'll discover something quietly powerful. When the coffee is sourced carefully and roasted precisely, your job is simply not to get in the way, and your morning becomes calmer by design. Onyx Coffee Lab is what transparency looks like when it gets personal. Every bag feels like an open notebook, with the story of the lot, the goals for the roast, and the kind of specifics that turn guessing into choosing. Exactly the confidence we want to build here on Tips for Senior. In the cup, their precision shows up as focus and poise. Brew a washed Ethiopian, and you'll notice a lifted floral aroma, a neat citrus line that brightens without poking, and a tidy sweetness that closes the sip. Switch to a naturally processed coffee, and the shape softens into ripe berry roundness, and a fuller body that's lovely for leisurely weekend mugs. If espresso is your ritual, Onyx's blends are tuned to keep their shape in milk, so your cappuccino can taste complete at 140-149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60-65 degrees Celsius, without drifting into bitterness. Start with something like 18 grams in and 36 grams out in about 28-32 seconds, and adjust by feel. If the shot tastes sharp, grind a notch coarser or lower your brew temp slightly. If it tastes flat, grind a notch finer or extend the shot a couple of seconds. For pour-over, think calm and consistent. Water just off the boil, 198-201 degrees Fahrenheit, 92-94 degrees Celsius, a 30-45 second bloom, then slow, steady circles to a total brew time around 3 minutes. If you find the cup edging into tartness, coarsen the grind and pour a little gentler. If it tastes hollow, tighten the grind and keep your stream steady. Counterculture is where I like to start because it shows exactly what good coffee looks like when a company respects both flavor and your well-being. The kind of approach we champion on Tips for Senior. You open the bag and nothing feels mysterious. The origin is named, the processing method is explained, and the roast date isn't hiding in microscopic print. That clarity shows up in the cup. Their washed single origins brew into a clean, tidy sweetness. Think gentle florals or citrus that sit lightly on the palate, while the house blends are designed for steadiness. The kind of cup you can drink every morning without wondering, what went wrong today? If you're brewing on a countertop drip machine, keep it easy. Fresh water, a paper filter, a medium grind, and a simple ratio of about 1 rounded tablespoon of coffee per 6 ounces of water. If you're doing a manual pour-over, let the grounds bloom for 30 to 40 seconds, then pour in calm circles with water just off the boil, 198 to 201 degrees Fahrenheit, 92 to 94 degrees Celsius. And stop as soon as the coffee bed turns from glossy to satin. That's where the sweetness lives. For espresso lovers, aim for a 1:2 ratio. For example, 18 grams in, 36 grams out in about 28-32 seconds, and steam milk only to 149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60-65 degrees Celsius, so it tastes creamy and naturally sweet not scorched or bitter. What matters for our community is how kindly counterculture coffees behave. They're easy to enjoy black, but they also play beautifully with a small splash of warm milk if that's what your stomach prefers. And if bright acidity sometimes bothers you, choose a washed coffee and grind one click coarser, or drop the water temperature by a couple of degrees. You'll keep the flavor and gain more comfort. You'll also hear a few friendly house rules that make every cup kinder. Sip water alongside your coffee. Keep milk in the comfortable 140–149 degrees Fahrenheit, 60–65 degrees Celsius range for espresso drinks so sweetness shines without bitterness. And give your brewer a simple weekly clean because old oils are the enemy of both flavor and comfort. Most of all, this guide is meant to replace doubt with confidence. 7 U.S. roasters that earn trust through transparency and consistency, presented as one connected story you can follow from the first sip to the last. We'll keep the language plain, the steps simple, and the choices respectful of your day, your medications, and your routines. And of course, if you have specific medical concerns, check with your clinician about how caffeine fits with your plan. Think of this video as a calm walk down the good side of the aisle. Each paragraph introduces one brand you can rely on, with practical brewing notes you can put to work tomorrow morning. When we reach the end, you'll have not just 7 names, but a way to choose any coffee anywhere, by reading the label for place and process, spotting a real roast date, matching caffeine to your schedule, and trusting your own senses. Ready? Let's start brewing a better morning. Welcome back to Tips for Senior. In our last episode, we pulled back the curtain on the don't buy side of the coffee aisle. Products that hide behind vague labels, lean on fillers, or push choices that don't respect your body. And the response from this community was loud and clear. If those are the ones to avoid, which coffees are actually good for us? Today's video is the positive companion to that investigation, and it's written especially for the way many of us live now. We want wonderful flavor, calmer energy, and a ritual that's kind to sleep, digestion, and heart health. When I say good coffee, I mean coffee that shows its work. Bags that name a place, ideally a farm or co-op. Explain how the beans were processed, print a roast date you can actually read, and when decaf is needed, use a water-based method that preserves flavor without harsh solvents. I also mean coffee that behaves at home. It should brew cleanly in a countertop machine or a simple pour-over, taste sweet without a spoonful of sugar, and stay balanced if you add a splash of warm milk. Because this is Tips for Senior, I'll keep translating flavor into wellness all the way through. If bright acidity bothers you, we'll steer toward washed coffees and gentle medium roasts. If afternoons get jittery or sleep feels fragile, we'll weave in water-processed decaf so you can keep the ritual without paying for it at midnight. If your stomach is sensitive, we'll use slightly cooler water and a touch coarser grind to encourage sweetness without pulling the harsh stuff.